Hello and welcome. I am the Sterling and today we'll be playing Going Medieval. In the last episode, we rebuilt the defense at the front entrance and added a second platform. And how'd we go? We got flogged. Frankly, we got flogged. Almost died. So in this episode, I plan to do something about it, all the while digging out and expanding the farmland. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. In between episodes, I've actually had quite a bit of time to think about what it is I've done wrong and why we're copping such a flogging even though we have the higher ground. And I think I've worked it out. We're far too bloody close. At this range, I reckon even Blind Freddy could let loose and hit us directly between the eyes. We're basically point blank. So what I've decided I'm going to do is essentially just move the platforms from here back to here. Simple. I don't even know why I put them here in the first place. It's not like I need to be that close. As you can see by the circle around his ball, that's the range of the archers, and that's at ground level. We can fire and hit the back wall with ease. We could almost go so far as to put the platform back here. We're not going to, but we could. So first thing we're going to do this episode is hit play and move the platforms. Fantastic. That's the new platform complete. And I ended up doing a bit of a gatehouse tower sort of thing. And it's actually quite high. This lower platform is actually one above our original low platform. And this one up here is one above that again. As you can see, Oda is on the lower platform and can easily hit the targets as they come in the entrance. And Passy is in the same boat. As I said, I could have easily built it back here and still been able to get to the front gate. Now, hopefully that will now start protecting us from the enemy. The next step I would like to do is unlock fire traps and things of that manner. But as I'm not actually sure whether or not we can accidentally set the fire traps off ourselves or our animals set them off, I'm not going to go unlocking and setting these up just yet till I've had a bit of a play with them. Now, as our front entrance is now complete, there's nothing left to do but hit play and get back to work digging out the farmland. Fantastic, we have a new settler. And yes, we will allow them to stay. I'd like to introduce you to Walter. Now, once he wakes up, I'll set up his jobs, his schedule, his management, and I'll get him into the ranks and get him digging. Now, you've probably noticed that I've deleted the metal grating that I was using for a roof. I'm not sure when it happened or if it's always been like this. The metal grating was actually stunting the amount of sunlight that we were getting. We were only getting about 15% sunlight, which was killing our crops. Now, I don't know if that's how it's always been, as I said. I could have sworn that we used to get significantly more light than that. Nonetheless, I've had to delete the roof so our crops will actually grow and our farmland will actually do its job. But now that brings me back to the drawing board. Am I going to be able to put a roof on this? How am I going to put a roof on this? Moving forwards, if I can't, I just won't. But it sort of defeats the point, I know. But honestly, with everything going on, between expanding the farmland and then also to come up with a viable solution to actually defending Ironhold from in the streets, I don't really have time to be farting about trying to work out how on earth I'm going to get this to work. So I'll put the graded roof on the back burner, have a bit of a think about it, work out what it is that was going on, and then I'll fix it later on. But for the moment, completely removing it has fixed our crops. Now, as I said, I'll set up Walter's job schedule and management and get him digging. And so there's nothing left to do but hit play and let him get back to work. And here we go, we're being attacked. Whoa, that is one big army. Yeah, I'm officially a little bit nervous about this one. On the bright side, this will give us a good chance to try out our new defense. And here comes the enemy. The doors are open, we're allowing them just to come straight down to the street. And as per usual, they're standing around waiting to regroup, then they'll hit the front gate. And here we go, they're hitting the gate. And I'm really excited to see how this all goes with the new defense. We've already taken out one of the enemies, and there seems to be a lot of pathing issues at the top. Here we go, another one's at the gate, and he's down. And it seems like we're just far enough away that the enemy can't hit us from the other side of that gate with their bows and arrows. With any luck, that is, anyway. And here we go, they're through the first gate, and we're picking them off one by one. Look at this, that's a few down. There's another one down. Oh, look at this, he's hitting the gate, and he's down. Whoa, we are just butchering them this time round, but they are slowly making it through our gates, which is not a good sign. And here we go, that's another one down, and another one. We're not taking them down fast enough, unfortunately. They just seem to be getting through all our gates. We might have to start adding more. This gate system does work if we have enough. Oh, look at this, they're onto the last gate. This is not good. Getting very nervous at this point, to be honest. And we're taking them down. This is looking really good, but now they're into the side gate. They're coming around. This is not good. By them being able to take out this gate, it's a bit of an oversight on my behalf, because now they're going to be able to just come straight around here and bypass these gates here, meaning there's only this door standing between us and the enemy, which is not good. So now all we have to do is hope the fight times out before the enemy actually gets to us, and with any luck, we might survive this. But we're killing plenty of the enemy, and there are quite a few still standing around. And now we are hitting the ones that are running amok in our actual cities, so this is good too. We're getting it from both sides here, look at this. More are dead. We haven't gotten injured yet, so our height has worked for us, and they don't seem to be damaging any of our stuff. Look, they're just standing around. This is really good news. We're still just picking them off as they run amok. They haven't even attempted to come up here. We are absolutely butchering the enemy. Look at all the dead. We're just flogging them. Now, of course, we're going to have to make some modifications to this area here because we can't have it this way. They just broke through. There was bugger all consequences to that. And we have won. 44 sworn enemies died during the fight. Thankfully, no settler was hurt by the enemy weapons. And for once, that's actually true and not a glitch, because we didn't get hit. This new setup worked perfectly. Why on earth I had it any different is got me stuffed. Look at this. Not a single injury, and we're still picking the enemy off as their escape, and look, the death toll is just ridiculous. Will this bloke even make it out here? Watch this. Go get him. Done. Of all those enemies, 2 survive. So now I'll undraft them. Nobody needs to heal up, so we can get straight into picking up all the spoils of war. I can then really start to have a good look at our front entrance and see what I can do about this. Because the longer I can hold them in this area here, the worse it will be for the enemy. Honestly, it was like they didn't know what to do. They were just butchered in here. Truth be told, I'm contemplating removing these doors. Even though I like the idea of being able to traverse into this area, it just isn't practical having doors there. Whereas if it's walls, they can't break them down and escape. Well, though in saying that, there's no consequence to having doors here, because even if they break into this area, they can't go anywhere. So maybe I'll just replace this side with walls. And then I'm thinking I might put some gates in the middle of the street here, and then some walls behind. So then even once they get into this area here, they then still have to fight through here. Though I must admit, all these gates are starting to look really fugly. Well, there's nothing left to do but hit play and let them get back to work. Well, another new settler. I'd like to introduce you to Elditha. Now, you know the drill. I'll go through and set up her jobs, her schedule, then I'll manage her weapon and attire. And then a search party will arrive in 1 day and 14 hours looking for her, so we better be ready for that fight. It is the 3rd day of summer, 1361. Quite a bit of time has passed, and I really underestimated the size of this bloody dig. It's become bigger than Ben-Hur, and I really screwed up this area here. I'm now needing to use ladders to get up because I dug the underside first, and now there's nothing for me to stand on. So I've had to set up all these ladders so we could get up to dig this layer. I'll then delete the top layer of the ladders, get up, dig out the next layer, and then this area will be done. Luckily, I've learnt from my mistakes, and I'm doing this side correctly. Though, I'm not sure which way is better. This is slow going because we can only dig 1 block at a time till we hit this corner. Then we'll start digging 2. But that's still only 2 points that we're actually digging at any given time. But yes, we have to build ladders and things of that manner over this side, though we're using every single settler to dig. I'm not 100% sure that this is the inefficient way, as this one is significantly slower. In the meantime, I've now started to dig the middle section down. This is where the river will run. Now, with the influx of all these new settlers we've had in the last couple episodes, we've got quite a lot of jobs filled out. We have 5 cooks at this point. I honestly think maybe that's a bit much, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm probably going to revisit this. I think maybe 4 is about all we need, especially when at this given moment we've only got 4 farmers, which once again, not sure if that's too much, too little. So I really need to go in and have a bit of a play and try and balance things out. At the same time, a lot of our settlers settlers are starting to really dislike some of the jobs, which isn't great. Luckily, none of the jobs they seem to dislike are mining or construction, so that's good. But for instance, Abel hates urgent hauling, so we better take that off him. But when it comes to food, this is the most amount of food we've ever had. We have over 300 meals and almost 2,000 raw food. Now don't forget, 900 of that food is barley, which we're not using for anything other than planting more barley for fodder. But that still leaves us with about 900 raw food that we can use to make meals. That is heaps. So at the moment, one settler is butchering, one is fermenting, and two are using the stoves. Our fifth settler that's set up to be a cook is doing nothing. So I could actually come downstairs and start adding stoves, which I think is probably our best bet. Then all that raw food we have will be made up into meals. And then we can store that, and then we're well and truly out of the way of any harm when it comes to food. Now, when you have a look, a big chunk of the raw food is what we're pulling off our fields. For instance, we have 142 cabbages. So expanding the fields as we have is doing wonders, especially for the fodder. During winter, I did do a big culling of all our animals. We slaughtered heaps. They're starting to grow back now because I didn't go too crazy, but that's why we have so much meat. But I did it because we were getting very low on fodder and I didn't know how much longer we could last. Now, I was very lucky that straight out of winter, the moment I could, I started getting hay out in the real world. But now, this 2,799 fodder is 100% off of our fields. So when it comes to fodder, fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx us, but at this point, we're completely self-sufficient. And as for timber, the only reason I've cut down any trees outside of Ironhold is so we can actually obtain saplings to plant on our fields. So when it comes to this 4,921, yes, a little bit of that is from outside. The majority of that is once again off of our fields. Now, on top of all of this, none of this food is from the outside world. It is all from under the mountain. So as it stands right now, we are completely self-sufficient under the mountain for the first time this season, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm extremely wrapped about. Though I can't go closing the doors just yet, as we still have all our storage outside. Does me no bloody good if I go locking the front door and then we can't get any of the limestone. It's just a shame I had to rip the roof off this so then we could grow plants. I actually wonder now how much of the struggle I was having with the fields had something to do with that bloody grated roof. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, not having grated floor doesn't really make too much of a difference because when you're looking at it, it sort of blends in anyway. And let's be honest, having the grated floors really made it stand out. Where this way, we can even sit on this angle and yes, you see the jagged marks and all that sort of jazz. And I'll probably go in and fix that up a bit. But I honestly think that probably looks better than what the grated floors did. And I'm not just trying to justify it. So I've set Alditha up to be another farmer, giving us 5 cooks and 5 farmers. Now, as I said, that might be a bit of overkill. If it is, I can always go in and move a few things around. But in saying that, Alditha makes number 19th settler. And in the past, I've had as much as 23 settlers. So we might need 5 cooks and 5 farmers. If that is the case, well, as it stands right now, we've only got 4 workstations in the kitchen. So in the basement, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 more stove. Now, if I do this, I'll also need to add a couple of wall pottery shelves. That way, it actually turns the basement also into a kitchen. And then while I'm at it, I'll put in a food shelf. That way we can store raw food ready to be cooked. Now, there's nothing left to do but sit back, wait our 1 day and 14 hours till the negotiator arrives, another day or so afterwards, then we'll be attacked. And then I can give our new updated version of the front a run for its money, which is pretty straightforward. I've just put a wall in and a couple extra doors. Hopefully, now this does the trick. But that's not the first time I've said that now, has it? And here we go, we're being attacked. And once again, they're looking quite lethal. Look at the amount of heavy armor they have. Well, I hope we can pull this one off. Now, you might remember a little while ago, I said that there was not much point for me building a wood workbench, as there was nothing on the wood workbench that I actually needed to produce because we weren't going to use clubs, etc. But now there is. With the recent update, we no longer only need mechanical components that are made over here on the blacksmith's forge. To make a standard crossbow, now we need wooden mechanical components. So now I've put a wooden workbench down on the cellar of the shield workshop, purely just to make wooden mechanical components, so we can then start producing the standard crossbow. So Passy finally has a use for the wooden workbench. Sneaky bloody devs, I was wondering why I wasn't producing any more standard crossbows. So now I'm just going to draft everybody and get them ready for the fight. And here's the first enemy straight down to the gates. Though they haven't started attacking yet, they're just regrouping, ready to attack as they always do. We now have 13 archers, so we should really make light work of the enemy. Though in saying that, they are quite heavily armoured. And we're already off. Look at this. Though we haven't killed anyone yet. Wow, we're not doing much damage. Though we've taken one down. Eldritch has heavy armour. Oh, we're starting to cause some damage. Come on, we can take him. It's slow going at this point, though. Looking at the amount of enemies we have, we're taking too long to actually kill. But yes, here we go. We have him. So we've taken down one heavy armored troop. I haven't selected anyone yet. I'm letting our archers fire willy-nilly at whoever they see. And then once they sort of break through and they're starting to get in, I'll then decide who I want to actually attack, depending on archers, armor, etc., etc. And they're through the first gate. Here we go. Now, are they actually going to move into position so we can get them, or are they just going to keep attacking our gates from outside where we can't get them? Well, I guess it's the latter, isn't it? And now we're just sitting around waiting. And here they come. Oh, and they've turned and ran. Though we've got a couple of them. That's great news. And here they come. They're coming back. And we've let them loose. There's another one down. And another one is down. Us being so far back has really made a hell of a difference. The enemy doesn't even know what to do with us. We can just sit back here and snipe them. Look at all this damage. We are just wiping them out, and they've only got through the first gate. And that's another one down. Oh, and that one's turned his back to us. I wouldn't go doing that, mate. We'll bloody have you if you do that. It's taken them forever to actually get down here. And they're through the other gate. And we got him. And that's... Whoa, no, it's not another one down. We're letting loose, though. That's another one down. And another. And we're taking another one. Oh, what are they building? Hang on a second. What are they doing down here? Oh, no, that's a wolf. A wolf has snuck into our base and is eating the dead. I was going to say, I thought maybe they were building a ladder to get over this wall. That's all right. Still at this point, not a single one of our archers has been injured. That's fantastic. And that's another one of the enemy down. And another couple are down. And yes, that was another couple. Let's take this bloke who's attacking the fence. Everybody, let loose. And he's down. That's fantastic. And another one is down. And another one. And another one. Whoa, look at this. They're just dropping like flies. They haven't even attempted to attack us yet. We must be so out of their range. And another one is down. And another one. Now, I mustn't get too comfortable, because the moment I get too comfortable and go, yeah, this is working just fine, is the moment that they'll start sending even more powerful enemies or a larger amount of enemies, and then they'll catch me off guard. I've always got to be prepared for a ridiculously hard fight. And then if it's an easy fight, then it's no issue. Now, here they come. That's another gate down. They're into the kill zone now. We can just start picking them off. But they're starting to break through. This is going to get really interesting in the second, especially once their archers get in range of us. Though there is 13 of us, and their numbers are starting to dwindle at this point. Look, and that's another one down. I'm not even sure they have any archers left, to be perfectly honest. We haven't seen anyone actually try and shoot us. So, but they are through the next layer of the gates. So we better start doing something about all this. And we won. 37 sworn enemies died during this fight. Daniil dealt the most amount of blows to the foe. Good on you, Daniil. And on top of all this, none of our settlers were hurt. I know for a fact that that is legit. Now, do we want prisoners? Nah. Kill them. Let loose. Kill them. Don't let them escape. Okay, we'll let 4 escape. I think, honestly, this setup is fantastic. That's 2 battles now that we've easily overcome just by setting our defenses so far back. I'm really, really happy with this. I should have done this a long time ago. Now let's undraft everybody and let's get back to work, because I need to get this farmland completed so we can move on to our next projects. Day 4 of winter, 1361. It took a long time, but we finally finished extending the farmland. And my word, has it been worth it. We went into winter with over 6,000 fodder, and that is purely off our own fields. And we have 300 meals. Given we've got 1,300 raw food and all of it is barley, well, most of it is barley, 300 meals in winter and 6,000 fodder, this is the best position we've been all series. And that is with all 19 settlers. I am very, very confident about our future now. I was tossing and turning whether or not we needed to extend the farmland, and I'm glad I did. And now we have room either side that we can start adding more farmhouses. We also need to extend this area here so we can start storing our seeds and our saplings. That way we can then get rid of this seed shack so we can use this space here, brewing beer and wine and etc. And we're also now ready to start building the stonemason and the brewery here. On top of all of this, our livestock population is starting to boom once again, and I've more than proven that down here at the front we can defend Ironhold from the streets. And on top of all of this, now I can start researching more things, for instance steel, and then we can start replacing all our armor and weapons with steel rather than iron, except for Thorlek's gold helmet. I've become quite attached to him running around with a gold helmet. And finally, I want to start moving all of this resource inside, especially all this gold. Unfortunately though, this will all have to wait for another episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.